I work at Creative Space Beirut in Lebanon. I'll give a bit of the context of Lebanon. I'm hesitant to do so because I think it contributes a lot to stereotyping Lebanon. The country is very small. You can drive from the northern to the southern end in maybe 3 hours. Beirut is maybe an hour and a half from Damascus. Our borders are totally closed at this point, so the country is almost like an island. Lebanese population itself is very diverse in religious ways, political ways, economic ways. And we have probably around 500,000 Palestinian refugees, and at this point close to 2 million Syrian refugees. So about almost 25% of the country at this point is a refugee population. But that being said, it's also an incredibly vibrant country, and the creative community in all of Lebanon is very, very exciting, and it's nice to be part of that. So first of all, what is Creative Space Beirut? So Creative Space Beirut is a free school for fashion design. We have students who are very talented, they're very passionate, but they simply don't have the financial means to attend university and pursue what they would want to study. So they study with us entirely for free. We also pay their transportation, we pay for the cost of their supplies, and sometimes we also try to create some opportunities for themselves to earn some income. So here's a photo of the space. Why fashion design and why in Lebanon? In Lebanon, there's only one public university, and most of education at this point is privatized, and it's extremely expensive. We believe that design is a process that's used to shape and structure our world. It's around us all the time, the clothes we wear, the buildings we live in, the cities we live in. And when you have the majority of the population that's prevented from studying design because of the high cost of education, you have the majority of the population that's prevented from saying what the world around them can look like. So we're trying to subvert that and to focus on free creative education. And we believe fashion design is also part of that, and people have the right to pursue what they would like to do. So how did this begin? These are our two founders. The older woman is Caroline Simonelli. She's of Lebanese descent, but born and raised in New York. She's a professor at Parsons in New York, and she's been working in fashion design for the past 50 years. And she was the professor of the younger woman in the photo, Sarah. After Sarah finished at Parsons, she wanted to somehow work with fashion design, but also social justice. And so Caroline just said, why don't you start a free school for fashion design in Lebanon? And that's what they did 5 years ago. So how do we function today? These are some of our students. We currently have 11 students. We take about 3 to 4 students every year, and they stay with us for 3 years. So it's an entire alternative to university. Our students come from all over Lebanon, and they don't necessarily have to be Lebanese. Anyone who's residing in Lebanon can study with us. We have different criteria than a lot of the other institutes and universities in Lebanon. So we take people who never went to high school, or they dropped out of high school. They don't have to speak Arabic or English or French, as you have to for most of the other institutes in the country. And for that reason, we're registered as an NGO, not because we really think of ourselves as an NGO, but because we can't be recognized by the Ministry of Education due to the way that we function. We've had a lot of success stories, and I'll share with you 3. About 2 years ago, we took part in a national competition hosted by Persil, the detergent company. So they had a upcycling fashion design competition for all of the fashion students in Lebanon. About 60 students participated, and our students took first and second place. And they won trips to Paris Fashion Week and for a workshop in Milan. This is our student Hazem. Last year, he was a first-year student, and we collaborated with a boutique in Kuwait called Four. It was really like the premier boutique in Kuwait. And so they asked for all of our students to create capsule collections that would then be exhibited at the boutique, and one of the students would win the competition. Hazem was a first-year student, and he won. His collection was incredible. And so this past year, he's been working with the boutique to create a new collection for them. They looked at the collection. They ordered $5,000 worth of his clothing. That's now going to be sold at the boutique, so it's really incredible for a designer. And this is our student Hiba. She's graduating this year in about a month. And Hiba, based on her portfolio that she created during the past 3 years, She's been accepted for a master's program in Milan to start next year. We're still trying to figure out how she will afford to do that. We're going to help her, but we're really proud of her for being accepted. I'll speak a bit about our curriculum. Usually in fashion design programs, the programs are very compartmentalized. So you have a sewing class, a pattern making course, an inspiration course. In our program, we do it all at the same time because that's how a person designs. You don't do the pattern and then the sewing. You do everything at the same time and you keep going back to it. So we try to have a process that's more holistic and more realistic to the way that designers actually design. Who are our teachers? We work with a lot of local Lebanese designers who volunteer their time. The teacher in the picture is Misak. He's Armenian Lebanese. He's been with us for like 3 or 4 years. He teaches, I think, like 6 hours per week, and he volunteers his time, and we have a lot of collaboration with local designers who really enjoy working with our students. Our team is very small. It's only 3 of us who operate the entire organization. We're all women, and I think we're very proud of that. And then one of the main things that we do is a yearly exhibition. So our students create exhibitions every year. We're going to have one in December. And these are some photos. We've had 5 so far. This was last year in Kuwait. And this was the year before, also in Kuwait. Sometimes we do them in Kuwait, sometimes in Beirut. It just depends on the year. So what are our struggles? Our main struggle is money entirely. Because of the way we function, we're not project-based. We only have 11 students at a time, so our beneficiary numbers are very low. So international donors won't fund us. They love what we do, but we don't fit their criteria for funding. And we don't want to change our objectives in order to receive their funding. So that has been our primary struggle. So the way that we get around it is we have 3 sources of funding. First, we have sponsors. They're mostly wealthy individuals who really believe in what we do, and they sponsor a specific student's education. So every year they give money for that student's education, and usually they do it for 3 years. Once the student graduates, they usually choose another student. So that's been very, very fortunate for us. The exhibitions, which I mentioned, we sell the collections of the students, and then the proceeds go back to the school. Sometimes we're able to fund like 40% of our yearly budget just through that one event, so it's been really great. And then what we're also doing in order to create self-sustainability is we started CSB Ready-to-Wear. It's our brand. We produce 2 collections per year. It's designed by the 2 founders and by the students. We get fabric donations from New York, from Donna Karen, Diane van Furstenberg, Derek Lam, so our fabric cost is pretty much 0, and the quality fabric is really great. And then we sell in Beirut, in Kuwait, and now also online a bit. And the goal is for the brand to really take off and for us to fund the school through the brand. What is our future? This is an illustration by one of our students of how he imagines Creative Space to be. Right now we're only fashion design, but in the future we want to add other design programs and other creative programs and really become almost like a university that's free, that's open for everybody, and that focuses on design and the creative industries. And then I just have for you a few photos so you can see the examples of our students' work. These are from their capsule collections last year. This piece was made entirely from latex. A conceptual piece. And this was from the winning collection. And then I'll show you guys now just a minute of a video that we did from the collections last year. going to stop because it goes on for like 5 minutes. But also to add that we have, even though it's 3 of us operating the whole thing, we really have amazing support in Beirut. The people that you see, we work with professional photographers, we have an art director who helps us, filmmakers, and they all volunteer their time. So we have this really incredible support network around us of people who help make it possible. Thank you.